Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of The Voice of the Paper. I'm William Moore, kind of being the moderator for today, even though there's not a huge number of us, so a moderator seems a bit silly. But I'm here with Maggie, one of the editors at the Flat Hat.
Yeah, I'm Maggie Moore. I'm the digital media editor, and I'm here to give a brief summary of some of our top news articles this week.
Indeed. All right, Maggie, so what are the headlines of the Flat Hat for this week?
So this week is actually a little bit interesting because today's Tuesday, April 2nd, which means yesterday was April Fool's, and every year we do an issue of the Fathead, which is our parody newspaper. So if you pick up a copy of the paper, you'll see headlines such as Ladies of Alpha linked to Griffin statue castration, or College bribes rich parents in shocking admission scandal, which is not actual news. It was put together by our exiting senior members who like to do this as one parting farewell to the campus. But if you open past the first page, then you see the real newspaper, which has a variety of news. One of the things on our actual front page is UndocuTribe holds Dreamers Week to destigmatize immigration, which is a piece about UndocuTribe, the campus immigration advocacy group that kind of works to help bring attention to undocumented immigrant issues. They had a whole week of activities and talks to kind of highlight immigration experiences, things for Dreamers, students who take part in DACA, and just to kind of bring attention to that experience on campus and ways that other students could help those members of the campus community.
Yeah, that's certainly an important part of the campus life, because I think we do have quite a few students who are recipients from DACA, and, you know, the program does directly affect them, so it does affect campus life quite a bit.
Yeah. So that's one issue, and then if you open up to the second page of the real part of the newspaper, there's a piece about Selena Fox, who was the Wiccan Priestess, who was on campus last week for a Call 300 talk. For all the Call 300 classes, there's a few visitors each semester that kind of talk about diverse experiences related to the Call 300 theme for the year, or for the semester, I should say. And our sports editor actually took this news article, Gavin Akin, and he had some quotes from her at her talk, and also interviewed some students who had attended the talk to get their opinion on what it was like to hear a Wiccan priestess speak.
Certainly interesting. I imagine that's an experience that not too many people have. I don't think too many of us actually realize that there are real, like, we hear about Wiccans from time to time, but don't actually get to meet one and hear their views on the world.
Yeah, she actually came to my Call 300 class, and she was very cool to listen to. Interestingly, a lot of people refer to Wiccans as witches, but there's some controversy around that word, and Selena Fox does not like it, although other Wiccans are trying to reclaim it as a term for their religion. So, fun fact.
Interesting. We'll have to keep that in mind. Wiccan is a charged term, or witch is a charged term to Wiccans.
Yeah. And then back to the front page, there is our top headline news story for the week, closed section, which is about the computer science department, and the large slew of overrides that they get every semester as students try and learn computer skills for the job market, and the college's resources end up a little bit strained. And we actually have the author of that piece, Ethan Brown, here to share more about his writing process.
All right. Thank you very much, Maggie. Now here we have Ethan Brown, who wrote the article that he is going to discuss now. Ethan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. So hi, I'm Ethan. I am a sophomore here, and I'm the managing editor at the Flat Hat. So that basically means I'm in charge of overseeing the news and opinion sections. So this article is one I was particularly interested in because while I'm not a computer science major, I have taken classes in the department, and I always recognize that there's a lot of strain in getting into those courses. A lot of people compete every semester to try to get into them, and a lot of times they end up being very disappointed because they can't get a spot. So after talking to some people that are in the comp sci and data science departments, I thought it would be a really cool idea to kind of investigate and see the process of obtaining overrides and getting space in these classes, as well as any plans that the computer science department has for expansion in the future.
So what did you find in regards to this? Is there, like, the strain? We all hear colloquial evidence on campus from, be it roommates, friends, about just the struggle. Like, how bad is it to actually get into these classes?
Yeah, so there's actually about 300 unique override requests every semester from approximately 180 students. So that means that a lot of students are requesting overrides for more than one class, which kind of signifies that there's a lot of competition, especially amongst people that are majoring in the subject because they're trying to take several classes in the department each semester. So that's obviously a very large problem. But another problem that, after talking to Department Chair Robert Lewis, I found was even more of a problem was that in recent years there's been a trend for non-majors to also take computer science classes. These are students in fields like data science, economics, applied mathematics, who have to take computer science classes either for proficiencies or just because they feel it's relevant to their own discipline. So that additional dimension, in addition to the computer science majors who are also needing to take the classes, has created a really intensely competitive registration process.
Certainly sounds it. Did you discover in your investigation, like, were there any plans on how to deal with this sheer volume? Because this sounds like this is going to become an increasingly large issue, especially for those who need these classes in order to graduate.
Exactly. Yeah. So luckily there are several plans in place that will hopefully alleviate this problem moving forward, which is really great. The first thing is that the computer science department is aiming to hire at least 5 new faculty members by fall 2019, which will definitely be a good step forward for the department, especially because these professors will be teaching courses at the introductory, intermediate, and advanced levels. It's not like they'll be focused at one tier. So really across the board, hopefully the department will be able to open up some supply of open seats. And additionally, there's a recently passed Virginia statewide initiative called the Tech Talent and Investment Program, and that strives to bolster enrollment in computer science and data science fields by at least 25,000 graduates, which is a pretty enormous number. And that wants to be accomplished by 2039. So there's kind of a 20-year period where those expansions are hopefully going to take place. So right now the college is in the process of negotiating with the Virginia state government and kind of determining what that plan looks like forward.
Definitely looks like there's a long-term strategy, though, to deal with this, which is really good.
Definitely.
In writing this article, did you encounter any particular challenges that perhaps would be notable to somebody who doesn't see it just by reading the Flat Hat article?
I would say that it was definitely easy to find students who have struggled with this because it's a pretty ubiquitous anecdotal problem that we hear of people struggling to get into these computer science classes, and that's what sparked the idea for the article. In terms of getting in touch with faculty, I definitely think Professor Lewis was glad to have someone to talk to about this problem because the computer science faculty have really been struggling with this for the past 5 or so years. So I think they were pretty excited to be talking to someone who is going to be publicizing the issue.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Alrighty, and that's it for this episode of The Voice of the Paper. Be sure to pick up the Flat Hat this upcoming Tuesday. Thank you for listening. We'll hope to hear you next week.